Alright guys, so the next thing on the build is going to be this MGW short throw shifter. It just came in the mail. We're going to unbox it and then we will install her. So, already cut it open. See what's inside the box. Ooh, that's nice. So I went with the flat shift MGW shifter for the 5th Gen Camaro and the black ball to go with it. There's a couple different color options, but my car is black, my soul is black, my shifter is going to be black. And it looks like we got a bunch of hardware, boot. So yeah, that's what's inside the box, and time to go put it on the car. Alright, first thing we got to do before we can install that new one is get this old one out. So the whole reason why I even got one in the first place is because the throws from factory are actually pretty long, and on top of that you have this disgusting freaking like softball, they call it, like flat softball, and it's uncomfortable and everything. So we're gonna get rid of that. We're gonna get better shifts, we're gonna get shorter shifts, and an overall better feel. So I'm gonna start with popping this tray up and out, and then popping this whole knob off along with the boot assembly. Alright, so I took my screwdriver, went underneath this cover right here, and kind of got it worked up. And you can slowly, there's a couple different tabs under here, but they're all just pop right up and out. And then you can take this whole mount cover thing out. The wires are long enough underneath this to have the whole thing set off to the side. I'll have to put the phone down, and then we can do our next step. With the column cover set off to the side, wire harness still connected, we are going to take and remove 1, 2, 3, 4 Phillips head screws for this cover, and then this whole shift knob cover and knob should pop right off the shifter. Alright, with those 4 screws removed, this boot's loose. Now all you got to do is lift really hard up off this knob and it'll pop off. I already did that part, so now it just comes off. But we'll set that aside for later. Save your screws for later. Put them in your cup holder. You're going to reuse them. Now you got 4 10mm bolts you need to loosen up, so we'll get those. With those 4 10mm hex bolts out, this whole assembly is a little bit loose. You can see it kind of fall. That's completely normal. So now we are going to remove the actual boot itself. There are a couple little I don't know, like pins that hold it down into place into the bracket. If you can kind of lift it up and then slowly start popping it up and out of here. Easier to do with 2 hands, but anyways, as you can see, you got these little guys, so go around the whole entire circumference of it and we'll pop it and then slide it off. Alright, so with 2 hands, went around, pulled the whole boot up. Now this whole boot comes right up and off, just like that. Now we are totally done for the top side, so we're going to go down, jack the car up, and do what we have to do from the bottom side. So next time you see me, bottom side of the car. Alright, now we're underneath the car. We need to take out this transmission mount. We got 4 bolts on each side. We'll get a jack under here to kind of support it, come down nice and easy because there's a lot of weight here. I don't know if you can see way up in there. This is the actual shifter itself. That's the bottom boot that is covering our linkage nut. So we're going to take that off, disconnect the linkage nut. Then we got 2 arms that go way back in there, and we'll have to take the clips out, and then that whole assembly will be able to come out. So first we're going to start with getting this transmission cross member mount unbolted and slowly bring the transmission down a little bit so we have enough room to work up in there. Alright, with this transmission cross member out of the way, we got the jack right there holding the transmission from completely free falling. We got the connecting parts to the arm. So you got two arms on both sides that connect the shifter to the transmission itself. And you can kind of see up there, you'll have to take a screwdriver, pop that up, pull the pin out on both sides. And then also we can undo the nut that's underneath this boot up here for the main linkage. So it's just really hard to do and hold all at the same time. But yeah, I'll work on that. Pop that little tab up with a screwdriver, pop that pin out, then that arm's free. And on the other side, I'll do the same thing. And then I'll take out this main linkage nut, and then that whole assembly will come right up and out of there. Alright, after wrestling a shit ton trying to get that thing out, it's out. So, here's the old guy. Time to go get the new one and get that one installed. The old shifter out, we're ready to put in the new one. So I wrapped it so we do not scratch up that handle while installing it. Take the whole body. Then the new connecting arms are wrapped with this dyno mat that you can see. You get a big old strip of this stuff, and I just cut it up into like 1-inch strips. Wrap both sides of the connecting arms, and then the rest of this we'll probably cut in half and throw on the inside of the transmission tunnel to help sound deaden, vibration, and all that. So they give you extra, and so now we're gonna go put these guys in. Alright, so from the top side you can see I have both of those arms on the top of the transmission in place. Now I just got to push this pin into those arms and lock it down, and those things won't be going anywhere. Then I'll throw the actual shifter body in and connect the center pin, you can see right there where a pin goes through, with the center linkage right there. So this is going to drop down and connect. So alright guys, as you can see I brought the shifter in through the top side. I'm on the bottom side now. I have that linkage pin in. Now I gotta put the other little snap retainer on, and then that's all done. This boot will cover back up and over this lip right there to kind of keep all the dust and debris out of that linkage. And then yeah, you can see this connecting arm I already got in. Still got to finish up the other side, but so yeah, I'm gonna put that retainer clip on, then put the boot on, and then start working on the next project. Alright, as you can see I got the shifter boot all the way in and secure, so that linkage is nice and hidden from all the road debris, and it'll stay nice and clean. I did put this extra dyno mat in, just like they claimed or told me to, whatever. So the next thing I'm going to do is stick the nut that goes in there to connect the shifter body to the actual linkage, and it'll secure it. There is a driver's side and a passenger side. Make sure you do not mix them up. One is longer than the other, and they do provide red Loctite to make sure it doesn't vibrate loose, because you want that as secure as possible. So that's what I'm going to do right now on both sides. Alright, I did get the driver's side in, you can see right there. Easy peasy. There is a lock washer and a normal washer as well, but just make sure you get the right side bolt in, and don't forget the Loctite. And it's just a 1/2 inch wrench. Snug her down. Now I'll do the other side over here, and then we should be pretty much done down below, and we can go up top. So exciting. Alright, as you can see, we have these 2 studs coming off the shifter body. They need to go into this mount, and there's 2 sides. There's a rubber side and a metal side. The metal side will be facing the back of the car exactly like this. So I'm going to slide that onto there, and then it's going to come right up through those 2 holes, and I'm going to bolt it from the inside of the car. They do have some black silicone RVT that they give you in the kit that you put along this top to help with vibration again. So I will apply that. Then I will put this on the correct way. Like I said, metal facing the back of the car and the rubber piece facing the shifter. And then I'll slide it up through there, then go on to the inside and bolt it up. So, yeah. Back on the inside, you can see the 2 holes that I showed you at the bottom where that back bracket came up. So now this whole shifter's up. Now we're gonna bolt it down. You got 3 washers. Well, 2. You got your main washer. You got your lock washer. And then your nut. We are gonna do both sides on that. This is going to be a 9/16 nut. We'll tighten that down with a ratchet, put the other side on, and then tighten both of those, and then we'll start installing the boot. So we got the boot here. Before we can put this in, we need to put the front retainer in, and that will go underneath over here. I'll come up underneath, come through the bottom, and then I'll put the washers and the nuts on, and then I'll sneak the boot in there and then tighten everything up, and I'll show you what that looks like next. Alright, so got all those 4 nuts secured with the boot. The next thing to do is install this sound deadening pad, vibration pad from Dynamat as well, I believe. There are 2 layers to it, and you stick them together, and it just basically doubles the thickness, and then you kind of stick it in here like so, words pointing up, and you are ready now to install the last piece of the shifter. We are going to reuse this boot, and they gave us a new knob. We are not using this knob. It will not slide over that anyways. That's your more traditional like twist on type. So I do have the knob right here. Pretty. We'll put that on last, but so right now we are going to get this knob off of the actual like outside boot, and we will put on the little retainer thing so it can slide over, and then we'll bolt this in place. Alright, so I got the old ball off and the new insert in. So what you do is you take your boot, put it inside out, and as you can see I have this zip tie on there right now. There's a little indent inside there, so when you tighten it, it can kind of lock in place on that little lip, just like right there. You can see that's where the zip tie is. So you'll stick the ball up in there, and you'll put the boot around it, and you'll zip tie it. And I already cut off the old zip tie right here for that one. I put that new little insert piece inside there. So now I'm going to trim that off now that that's secure, and I can push this inside out like so, and then I can slide that over the shift knob, and then secure this down with the 4 screws that we took out earlier, and then tighten the shift knob. Alright, so I slid it over the shift handle. It snaps into place so you can still see the MGW perfectly. Does not move. Looks good. Gonna put the 4 screws back in. Then we can put this column dash cover on. And then we'll put our knob on and we will be done. Alright, final product. She looks good. Knob is in place. Feels really, really stiff. Honestly, holy crap. Really short, really stiff. Can't wait to get her on the road and try her. I will go down below and put that cross member back up for the transmission and put the heat shield back in place. But overall, project's done. Looks good, feels good. I'm excited to take her out and rip her.